Guys, what's up? How's everyone doing today? Whew, it is Saturday, June 6th, 6:28 a.m. I haven't gone live on a Saturday this early in a while. The reason for this is yesterday was extremely busy for me from a coaching perspective, clients in person at my gym here in Sydney, so I didn't have time to go live. And then the fights were on and the day just got away. So I took the day off from streaming and I wanted to make up for it with this morning. So Saturday, June 6th, 6:28 a.m. Sydney, Australia. I sparred yesterday, just went light, and I have sparring again today in about at 9 a.m. I got touched up a little bit here. That's what happens when you're not trying to hurt each other. You kind of get scraped sometimes wearing the big gloves too, and we're not taping the wrists. You're just, in the gym, you're not taping everything. Sometimes the gloves, depending on what your sparring partner's wearing, has the Velcro. And I hate when I get scraped. I'd rather have a bruise. But anyway, hopefully everyone's doing well. We have a lot to talk about. There's fights that start. I'm gonna pull up the odds. We have the ProBox card with Eddie Vasquez. We have the Japanese card with Angeletti and Lover today. And then we have the UFC tomorrow. We have Zuffa tomorrow. Let me see. It's a fun day ahead, boys. It's a fun day ahead. I appreciate everybody here. Wherever you are in the world, I say thank you. Like this video. We're just doing amazingly on everything. Our streams, our channel's growing. We're approaching 28,000 subs, which is insane. I remember not too long ago I was at 1,000 subs. We're at 28,000. Not bad, man. Not bad. Our Discord is approaching 520, so 520 JSB insiders. And it's all because we have the most researched, well-educated team in the game. And I appreciate you guys for it. Look in our Discord. We got expert analysis, guys who are doing film study all week. We're not fans of fighters. We're fans of the sport. It's okay to be obviously there's going to be fighters that you guys adhere to and you guys are attracted to by their spirit, which is normal. But you always have to understand why we're doing this. We're doing this to dissect the greatest sport on earth and to share knowledge on where to find a lean. It's why we win consistently. Last night was interesting with Canada. We knew about it. The Tiger, you guys, I got 20 messages about the main event with Albert Ramirez and Lerone Richards. I got 20 messages. I'm not a Lerone Richards fan. I'm not an Albert Ramirez fan. I'm a fan of the sport. All of our parlays are live except one. The only fight we lost was a prop. So everything came through like we thought it was going to be. All the A sides won like we thought they were going to. My knockout prop was looking juicy, plus 600. Everything came through except Ramirez on points. I want to give a shout out to Youngin. Youngin is one of our JSB insiders. He's in our Discord. He might be on this chat. 2 days ago during our live stream, I brought up Youngin's slips, which were in the Discord, his parlays, and one of the slips he had Jaron Ennis on points and Jaron Ennis by knockout, and it gave me an idea. I was like, oh shit, I've never kind of done that. I've never put together two parlays with hedging. We know what it's called, but I've never done it. So I did that this weekend. I'll let you know how it goes. I didn't make it public. One of those hedges, I took our knockout prop, but I changed which got dusted because I took Ramirez. I took Ramirez on our long parlay, which hit. I took Ramirez on our short parlay, which hit. I took Ramirez by knockout, which didn't hit. But on a sneaky, I'm going to call it a youngin parlay that I didn't make public. I'll tell you about after. I took Ramirez on points at plus 400, but a bunch of other things have to happen. And that's just more of an experiment. I'll let you know how that goes. Because from my perspective, when I give you guys my tickets, I still need to come to terms with giving one publicly, knowing that one is going to lose. You see what I'm saying? So hedging from my perspective, it's kind of counterintuitive when, from a credibility standards, it looks cool when like the week before we hit all of our tickets. The second I start making hedges public, it's like, all right, we're sacrificing one for the other. So I need to figure out the proper way, the methodology. Maybe I do that publicly and just put it not in our group, but we'll figure that out. 5 minutes in, I'm going to take your questions. All I'm going to say about Albert Ramirez and Lerone Richards did not fight a spirited fight. Okay, there were no knockdowns. There were no big moments. Lerone Richards executed a game plan that they worked on. It was a good game plan. It was boxing. You could say what you will. Was it exciting? No. Was it brave? No. Was it admirable? No. Was it memorable? No. The sad thing about the sport is the only thing that fight is going to be remembered for is the outcome. Albert Ramirez had no answers for Lerone Richards. No inside game, which we knew, was super frustrated, was showing on his face. Move on, win and move on. I'm not here to play the business of ethics. If my podcast was called Ethical Boxing, I would do that. This is Johnny Says Boxing. We talk boxing. We talk about how to win money on boxing. We talk about all the fights. We're not casuals. I was watching a live stream earlier. These dudes, man. If you're gonna call yourself a guy who breaks down boxing, if you're gonna break down boxing, you should be prepared to break down all boxing. You shouldn't be bashing fighters. This is me being ethical. Now this is me gatekeeping, right? Because this is kind of personal. On our channel, all fights. If I have it on my books, I'm going to talk about it. All fights, guy fights, girl fights, boxing fights. I do have my line. I tend not to do celebrity boxing. I won't do influencer boxing. I won't do sort of circus matchups. But dude, think about how much money we won on the female MVP card last week. Think about how much money we won by picking underdogs on the female boxing last week. You know what I'm saying? That's a skill. So you kind of have to, if you guys are out there thinking that you're not gonna, it's fine to not bet on certain fights. Like I don't have action on certain fights this week. You guys are probably gonna ask me about the Ditchko fight. I'm not betting on that Ditchko fight. You're gonna ask me about some other fights. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna pass. But to draw a hard line in the sand and say you don't bet on, let's say, British boxing, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. More for us, right? And so, yeah, I expect you guys to read to come to our channel here to break down boxing and look for the reads and look for the leans and look for the value. What's the word of 2026? Value. If we have a fight presented to us and we get to watch it and it's on our books, we're going to find value. So I'll say what's up to everybody. Tipkin, thoughts on Neri? Neri always misses weight. It'll probably help him in the fight. Cowboy Troy, what's up, bro? What's up, brother? Thanks for going live. Yeah, I had to. I had to speak on it this morning because I didn't go live yesterday, and I saw some other people going live with some crazy takes, and it's wild, man. It's wild. I used to manage fighters. I managed a couple fighters in my day. I'll never do that again. I talked about it before. Managed some female boxers. Um, yeah, the idea that I would sit here and bash fighters is insane to me. Just coming from, the fight game. My girl, dude, I looked awful with a beard. Come on, let's be real. I'm not a beard guy. Some guys are beard guys. I'm not a beard guy. Your progression is going well. What's up, Cowboy Troy? I appreciate you. Okay, so we got let me see. I don't want to miss anybody here. John McGann, all in on Lover. Are you surprised I'm not surprised the Discord is split. The Discord's gonna be split. John McGann is talking about Kenneth Lover, really fun prospect contender now from the Philippines, fighting today in Japan on the Kameda Promotions card. Fun fight. It's my fight of the week. I broke it down. Lover versus Angeletti. I understand. Look, we're 60% of the 28,000 YouTube subs, 55% are American. Discord doesn't give me the analytics. I'd be interested to know what the Discord is of the 520 JSB insiders, how many are Americans. And then there aren't many guys who do this on YouTube. 3D does it. He has a much he's a Texas guy. He's an American guy. He has very specific views on specific fighters. We know he loves Texas fighters. We know Angeletti's a Texas fighter. A lot of the guys who watch my stuff will watch his as well. And he likes Angeletti. So that's kind of why. I don't see it. There's nothing in Angeletti's game that he's technical. He's a 29-year-old prospect. If you want to watch my breakdown, go watch it. There's things in Lover's game that I like. He has sort of an elevation to his branding as well, his explosivity, his athleticism, his marketing, the money Kameda Promotions is putting behind him, his power, his leaping hook, his left hand. I think power. I think he has better feet. I think he has better speed. I think he's the better athlete. If you think that, and some of you guys saw the weigh-ins and you guys thought that Angeletti looked good at the weigh-ins, I didn't think he looked good. I thought Angeletti looked drawn out. He cuts a lot of weight. I think Lover looked good. Lover looked like a guy who doesn't cut that much weight. He's going to be a couple inches shorter, but that's where he wants to be. He's not going to fight Angeletti at range. He's going to fight him on the inside. I like Angeletti at range. I think that's his best way to win. But Angeletti likes to fight on the inside. And I think he's going to give, I think there's going to be moments that Angeletti's going to fight Lover on the inside. And I think he's going to learn some lessons on the inside. If I'm not getting a prop, if I were able to get a prop, I'd take Lover by knockout. I got Lover on the money line at $1.70. I got the fight. Doesn't go the distance for the George. What's up, Danny? Danny Roja. I think you're new. Did you just sign up on Patreon? The Patreon's I don't, guys. If you join on the Patreon, if you join on YouTube and you're not in the Discord, send me an email now, johnnystofko@icloud.com. Be like, hey Jay, it's so and so. I'm a Patreon or I'm a JSB insider. I'll send you the link. But I put up the Jordan Levitt weight cut. Sean Strickland posted up. I put it up on my Instagram. I put it in the Discord. Strickland was with Levitt. Extreme Couture guy, Las Vegas guy. Levitt he looked like he was on death's door. For me personally, as a coach, and a lifelong fan of combat sports, boxing, MMA, weight cutting to me is the dirty aspect of the game. It's basically what did Rogan used to say about weight cutting? It's agreed upon cheating. You know what I mean? Some guys are good at it, some guys aren't good at it. Why not just fight at walk away? Why not fight around your walk around weight? But I understand why it's in there. You want to find a lean, just like us betters. We're always trying to find leans. Cutting weight and putting on weight and seeing who can rehydrate, that's their lead. But Jordan Levitt looked horrible, man. He looked real bad. Yeah. If you're Lerone Richards, 100%. I mean, it was tough to give 2 rounds. It was tough to give 2 rounds to Albert. But that being said, Albert was the A side. Albert is the eye of the tiger guy. Albert's the undefeated guy. Albert's the guy with the interim strap. Lerone Richards fought a really smart, prepared fight, but it was negative. And then his best moments were in the last minute of the last round. And this is going to sound crazy because there were no point deductions, there were no knockdowns, there were no 10-8 rounds. Neither guy had big moments. That last minute, Lerone hitting Ramirez clean with a couple 1-2s, that might have played against Lerone because then you leave that. That's what you basically tell everybody you left a lot in the tank. You basically tell everybody you came to Canada to play it safe. You basically tell everybody at 32 years old, things haven't happened for your career yet, and rather than taking a risk and being a little bit more aggressive, you're gonna leave that in the tank and just adhere to the judges as a traveling B-side to Canada. That pissed me off as a fan of the sport. You're like, Johnny, how could that piss you off? He looked that last minute, Lerone, still clean, still technical, still tight, didn't take any damage, and was walking Ramirez onto that. Why not do that earlier? Why not fight more aggressive? Why not take risks? Oh, he might get hurt. He might get knocked out. Well, now he has to live the rest of his life with what could have been. Call it a robbery, which, whatever you guys want to say. The history books will always say on paper he lost a split decision. And when you look at that last minute, he was clearly the more skilled guy. He was clearly the more mentally locked in guy. He was clearly the more technical guy. Why not take all of that, the entire fight, and game plan around that and be a hero? You ever see the scene in Pineapple Express? He's like, you could come back. He was like, if you're brave, you could come back a dragon. You could come back a sorcerer. But if not, if you're a coward, you come back an anal bead. And then Red goes, well, maybe the anal bead. Who's it belong to? It belongs to me. Probably the dragon. How are we watching? I'm Adu, my guy. Um, I think it's going to be on YouTube. So the Japanese Kameda Promotions card will be on YouTube, but I expect either Doovie Kid, the Mayweather, or Kyle Hayden. Those are our three JSB Insider streamers within our Discord. Guys, wherever you are in the world, we got 60 of you savages in here. I appreciate you. This is a Saturday morning at 6:45 a.m. You guys are beasts, the best community in boxing. I stand on that. Look at our receipts. We're not only posting our reads, we're not only researching the game, we're not only giving you our analysis, but you guys see our tickets. Go into the Discord. All the boys, they're posting their tickets before the fights. So why does that matter? Because we're not casuals. We're going to stand on the hill. We're either going to win or we're going to lose. Nobody wins all the time. Nobody loses all the time. At the end of the day, what do you have? You have your effort. I talked about it in the live stream before. Judge a man by their effort. Judge a person by their effort. That's it. Do you like Maloney to win? So on that aforementioned hedge experiment, I think I have Maloney on. I think he's on our moonshot. Yeah. Our moonshot is live. Dimitri Asinel by knockout. Dude, come on, the Wasp. How good did Asinel look? All week in our Discord, we're like, dude, Asinel by knockout. When that prop drops, let's eat. So we took Asinel by knockout at plus 120. And then on that moonshot, which is paying 344 to 1, trying to recreate some history from last week with that 490 to 1 we hit. I have Maloney at $1.96. But I did do a hedge that isn't public. And you guys are gonna be like, if the one that's not public hits, I'm gonna be salty because it's more of an experiment because I wanted to see what hedging is like. So I'll keep you posted. What do you think about McGee UFC? Yeah, I like McGee. I like Costa. I like Ewo. I like all three of those. Mike from Melbourne, sub Johnny. You up nice and early. Great way to start the weekend. Still can't believe that scoring for Ramirez. Yes, we won, but you have to feel for Richards. Yeah, looking forward to Mitchell with Luna. Yeah, Mike from Melbourne. I didn't forget about you. I know the message you sent me in the Discord. I just have to wrap my head around that in terms of how we could do that as a community and not put too much on my plate because I have a lot going on. But I appreciate the insight and like all of the VIPs in there. If you guys ever need anything, if you ever want to run an idea by me about what we could add to the game, add to our team, contests, competitions, just DM me like Mike from Melbourne did. The King, man, you're gonna be back up. I heard. What's up, King? Han should not have won. Stephanie Han, Texas fighter, A side. That was last week. Are you salty? Oh, it's because you put money on home. If you would have listened to our breakdowns all week, I would have told you not to do that. They already fought once. You would have had it in Texas with the Texas Commission, with Han already having the belt, with how that first fight went. Holm was going to need a knockout. This is the same thing with Lerone Richards. I said during fight week, Lerone Richards, if you're taking Lerone Richards, the only way you take him is by knockout because he's not going to win a decision as the B side in Canada on an Eye of the Tiger card. This is betting. This isn't ethics. What I do here is, you guys know I'm a coach. I'm a teacher. We teach you have to talk about the politics of betting wherever you do in your career, however you choose to spend your hard-earned money. If you're going to take your hard-earned money, even if it's a dollar, and you're going to put it on your betting app and you're going to bet on a fight, you better at least know the politics of where is the fight taking place, who is the A side, what's the fight card, when is the last time an Eye of the Tiger B side won? November. It was a November fight. We knew these statistics. So same thing with the Texas Commission. It's correct. You could hear Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri, Tommy Rainone talk about it all the time. Texas Commissions, very tough for non-Texas fighters to go to Texas as a B-side to win. It's just a thing. Everybody knows this. Same thing with the Eye of the Tiger card. Holly Holm would have needed to knock Stephanie Han out to get a decision, and Lerone Richards would have needed to knock Albert Ramirez out to get a victory. Did you catch the Angela Letty? Yeah. No, I disagree. I think I'm going to show you. I think Angeletti looked horrible on the scales, man. Angeletti to me looked like he had a tough weight cut. He cuts a lot of weight. I'm looking at his eyes. He looks drawn out. Look, Lover is a boxer puncher. Lover's an aggressive volume power puncher. He wants to be on the inside. The distance, he has the hand speed. He has better feet than Angeletti. Angeletti's a little bit static for me. And Angeletti, like I said, does like to fight from the outside, but he does like to fight on the inside. I think he's going to give Lover an opportunity. I think Lover does what he wants against Angeletti, to be honest with you, regarding where the fight takes place. It's going to come down to how good is Angeletti's timing, how good is Angeletti's power. Is it real? You're a prospect of the year in 2022 PBC as a 25-year-old, and now you're 29 years old and you're still a prospect. You have 14 pro fights. You're like, he's traveling 14-hour flight from Texas to Japan as the B-side on a Kameda Promotions. Guys, if you've been paying attention to the game the last 2 years, Kenneth Lover is getting pushed. This is a Filipino knockout artist that they're getting pushed at 23 years old. They're putting hype behind him. Why? Who else is from the Philippines? Who else was a southpaw with a good backhand? Athletic. You know, make what you will of it. I think Angeletti's going to have to knock him out. And I think in attempting to knock him out, I don't think Angeletti can knock him out. In attempting that, I think Angeletti's going to get hurt. Crispy Chris in this house. What does Derek Lewis say? UFC heavyweight. We in this hoe. We in this hoe. What's up? Oh, we got a little super chat up in here. My man Mosby taking care of the boy. Taking care of the boy. Thank you. $5 courtesy of live betting on Ramirez. Bro. Guys, if you are in our Discord, if you're new to the game, if you're new to the JSB community, yes, you get my picks. Yes, you get my tickets. Yes, you get my parlays. That's just surface level stuff. The true benefits of paying the couple bucks a month to get in our Discord is the live betting, and you know, hopefully the feds aren't listening, but we stream all the fights in there. Think the money you save, dude, is insane. We have like a private boxing nightclub in there. Ramirez was a plus 800 in the 10th round. And we were like in the chat, we're like, bro, if you think Lerone Richards is going to knock out Ramirez, then don't make this bet. This is in the 10th round. But if you think Lerone Richards is going the distance, smash Ramirez right now on the money line at plus 800. Good call, Mosby, man. You're a beast. Confident picks. Suleiman. Yeah, Suleiman's nice. Yabuki's nice. Padley, Neary, McKenna, Aaron Bowen, Cutler, UFC, Souza, McGee. Appreciate you sharing game. Mike from Melbourne sharing a free game. See, you're braver than I am. I have some PTSD from doing this for a while. The whole word confident doesn't resonate with me when gambling. Anything can happen. I've put the effort in. Am I confident in my effort of what I see in the film study and the research and the conversations we've had? Being open-minded is very important as well. I'm confident in that. Where the chips fall, we do have a community spiritual advisor. Shout out to Beezy with the hoodie. He says a spiritual prayer for us every weekend. Maybe that's why we win. I just put Angeletti on my risky parlay, but I just stayed. It's a good fight. Look, I'm a fan of the craftiness of Angeletti. He's crafty. For me, two prospects, there's more questions in terms of game planning, in terms of expectation within the fight. I know what to expect from Lover. We've covered Lover on the channel before. When I hear other YouTube channels, other boxing heads, I don't expect all boxing heads to know every fighter like us. We're nerds, dude. We're watching female boxing in Japan. We're watching women's boxing in Canada. We're watching domestic level Filipino cards. We're watching domestic level Japan. We watch everything in our community. So why is that a benefit? Because when we see some prospect who was fighting on the regional scene in the Philippines rise up and get an opportunity, we already know who they are. We know what to expect. I've seen Lover starch people before. I have questions with Angeletti. Eileen Angeletti, wouldn't be surprised if he stopped Lover. Get after. This is the thing. If I was on Angeletti, he's the dog. I would take Angeletti on the money line, and that would be good enough for me. I have Lover at $1.75, so it is close. If I was getting props, which my book isn't giving me props, I would take Lover by knockout based off of how they operate. Yeah, Massey's massive. Jack Massey's massive, dude. Look who Massey has fought in his career, who he's been in there with. Chef Clark's not a big guy, 5'11". Chef Clark got outworked against Vidal Riley. Lover, round 1 through 6. Lloyd Hernandez getting sexy with it. Mm, mm. I was watching one of these. You guys know how our algorithm has been hijacked by Adrian Broner and Dean the Great. One of these, this is how big of a boxing nerd I am. One of these clips that I saw going viral on my algorithm was they're obviously drunk. Dean the Great's in his kitchen and he's just kind of like shadow boxing. And Adrian Broner comes in and Broner adjusts his technique and then showed him his pool counter. Bro, it was gorgeous still. Adrian Broner with his belly hammered, had tequila rolling off his chin. He goes straight into coach mode, straight into 4 division world champion mode, and takes Dean the Great's technique and he shows him, after you throw that jab, you slip, and then you don't just throw the right hand, you bring your hip with you. Boom. And so I saw that on Tuesday. I've been drilling it all week at my house on my heavy bag, and it's coming along. Anyway. That's how big of a nerd I am, man. Never grow up, you know what I'm saying? That's a little tip to you boys out there, you young bucks, and you old heads like me. Never grow up. Find a passion that really makes you enjoy it. You know what I mean? And you'll never grow old. Your body will grow old, but your mind won't. So that's a little life tip for you. This is off topic, but when you wake up at 4 a.m., does your day instantly start? My day instantly starts. Yeah, because this is good. Great question, Sanford Pet. It's a choice. I'm not one. You don't go to my Instagram. You don't. I'm not one of these guys that you see. I'm up at 4 a.m. I'm gonna take a photo of my alarm clock. I'm up before you. No, I have an online coaching business where some of my online clients live throughout the world. So I have to be in contact with them. I have an in-person coaching business, so people come to my gym early. I treat this like a business. I see you guys every day, so I have to be really organized. And when I used to own a gym in the Sydney CBD, I would wake up at 4:45 a.m. I live over the bridge, and my first client would see me at 5:45 a.m. I started doing that in 2015. I just kept that routine. It just keeps me on track, and I'm very productive early. But as that day goes, I fade, boy. I'm an old man. I was in bed last night on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. At 8, I was in bed at like 8:15 last night on a Friday. I couldn't even stay up to finish game 2 of the NRL. There were 2 games, the 6 p.m. and the 8 p.m. game, the Sydney um, Canberra game. Joe T, what's up, player? Johnny, go on Neds. Is that another betting app? Oh, Echan, my guy. All right, I'll check it out. Yeah, no big moments. Okay. Joe T, my man, I joined you this. I appreciate you, Joe T. We're a growing community. I want to give a shout out to one of our OG. We have a few moderators in there. I want to give a shout out to one of our OG moderators, Gil. If you guys in the Discord ever need anything, such as we should start this channel, or maybe we should do a poll, like at Gil, send Gil a DM. He'll answer. He's in our chat, but he's the one who organizes everything and keeps it clean. We also have moderators to limit hate speech, trolling. We handle this like a career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I expect you boys in the Discord to proverbially have a briefcase, thinking cap on. Let's get to work. Let's make money. Let's have fun. We clown, but you guys, there's no reason to attack each other in there. We do a really good job at moderating it. So shout out to our mods. He wasn't winning that fight unless he got a knockout. Yeah. User, what's up, buddy? Johnny, who you got today? Let's be Young Money. If you have a specific question about a specific fight, ask me and I'll tell you. I'm getting over by knockout TKO plus 250. Bro. All right, Danny, you brought it up. I want to show you guys something. Thanks for bringing it up, man. He brought up the AOA fight. These odds have kind of crashed. I'm gonna bring up the odds real quick. Okay. All right, so I threw this fight on our moonshot parlay. I got him at plus 290. He's down to plus 260. All right, so you're taking AO going the distance. So look at this fight. I couldn't find too much tape on Yokoyama, but shout out to Barry Unboxing. Barry Unboxing is one of our JSP insider sharps. The dude's a beast with his analysis. He covers all boxing. He knows a lot about the women's game. He knows a lot about domestic. This dude will be covering domestic Argentinian boxing, and it's why it benefits our group because we get these early reads. Barry Unboxing gave us the read last week on early read too on Auntie Lourdes. Auntie Juarez. Lourdes Juarez, the champ, was fighting Yoka Valley, and Juarez was a plus 360. And our group smashed Juarez, dude. And you know, I just got to give credit when credit's due. I did my due diligence. I'm not gonna say I was gonna if it wasn't for Barry Unboxing giving us a heads up early last week that I would have even looked at that fight. But this is why I always say it's a community, it's a team effort. He does this breakdown early last week. Says that these odds are off. We then collectively do our film study, and then I was like, you know what? I'm sorry. That's a good read. I like Auntie Juarez here. Sure enough, all those who picked Yoka parlays got burned and dusted. All of us who took Auntie, and it's just an attribute to how educated our group is. So this is one of those fights that I was looking at behind the scenes. Let me show you why it's interesting. I took Para at plus 190. It's down to plus 160. I know Vince Pars. We've seen him fight before. I know that Barry Unboxing is a bit hesitant on Yokoyama, considering Yokoyama is, I think, he only has 4 fights, but they're trying to compare him in the domestic scene in Japan to like the next coming of Inoue based on his style. So let me show you. These odds have definitely shifted. So this is Pars, the Filipino dog. Look who this kid. Like you guys probably have seen him fight before. 30 pro fights, and this falls in line with a pattern that we've seen over the last 2 years in boxing. The the jumpstart prospect with under 10 pro fights going in as the A side is a massive favorite against a veteran who has 30 or so pro fights, B side, massive dog. That this fills that narrative perfectly. 25-4, never been stopped, 19 knockouts out of 25 wins, hard-hitting Filipino fighter. Dude, the dude has wins. The dude has wins over Kawaguchi. He fought Kawaguchi, I think, in a trilogy. How many times he fought Kawaguchi? 3 times or twice? He beat Kawaguchi once and then lost to Kawaguchi. I mean, that in itself, watch those fights, watch this kid's style. So this is the dog. Never been stopped, could crack. Here's who he's fighting. This is the favorite. Yokoyama. So I'm not going full unit, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's a good dog read. Hey, you guys might not even be getting this bet. But personally I think it's a good dog read. I threw him on our moonshot parlay. So that's the action I have on it. I mean, I, I mean, we out here doing box rec photos with the chalk drawn outline. When some back in the day, when somebody would get murked, In the project, you don't know about the Northeast Ohio projects, boy. Them Youngstown, Ohio joints. The chalk line, boy. Somebody ends up getting murked on the down. They got to draw the chalk line up, boy. What? This is your box rec photo, bro? I mean, he's a favorite for a reason, but my man has 4 pro fights, 32 pro rounds. Now, the Filipino dude, if our boy had 4 knockouts, I would say, all right, he's going to have to go in and stop Yokoyama. I think he's going to stop him. That is a tough step up for your 5th pro fight, bro. I mean, that is a tough step up for your 5th pro fight. That's insane to me. So that's another fight. Check your books. I like Paris there. The odds are crashing a bit. Like I said, we got him at plus 190. He's at plus 160 now. Let's see if the Kenneth Lover Angeletti odds have shifted at all. And I'll get to your questions. Yep, there's money. Okay, so I got Lover at $1.70. He's at $1.80. So some money is coming in on Angeletti. Still not getting props. I'm still all over Lover. Johnny, should I drop 100 on Tim? Bro, look, these odds are crazy. These odds are crazy. We already dropped the odds. I made a post 2 days ago. Tim was at a plus 185. He's at plus 135. I think so. Here's the case. Here's the case for Errol Spence Jr. The case for Errol Spence Jr. as the favorite is that he's Errol Spence Jr. and he once dominated 147 for half of a decade 10 years ago. Here's the case for Tim Tszyu. He's been more active. Errol's never fought at 154. This fight's at 158. Errol hasn't fought in 3 years. Errol got the dog piss beaten out of him against Terence Crawford. Errol, car crash, alcoholism. Obviously, there's degradation there. I'm shocked. The fight's in Sydney. The Zhu family, you guys can make what you want about this stat. The Zhu family in Australia, Nikita, Tim, and Costa, 51-0. 51-0. We're gamblers. That hell yeah, put 100 on Tim on the money line. I took him at plus 185. He's at plus 135 now. Very good point. That's what I'm learning from this channel is the politics are better. It's not only, yeah, it's bro. We have to. My job is to be a conduit of information. If I was just a fanboy, dude, it like Johnny, who do you like better? Who do you like better as a boxer, as a fan? Errol Spence Jr. or Tim Tszyu? I would say Errol Spence Jr. Maybe because when I was younger. But you know what? Even now, Tim Tszyu, what Tim Tszyu does really well, that's a very fun style too, though. Mexican Zoo. It's a fun style too. I'm interested to see what Timmy looks like with Jeff Fennick, Australia's greatest champion. And I'm not. I don't. I think the people back in Errol are his OG fans. He has a strong fan base, rightfully so. Very, very fun guy. And we love a comeback story. We're boxing fans. We're hopeless romantics. What a story, right? I don't see it. Long flight, B-side, traveling to Sydney. I don't see it. I would definitely be smashing Timmy on the money line. I cashed my Richards bet after 10 round because of politics, but that honestly one of the worst decisions. Yeah, bro. I'm able to compartmentalize the bet now from the ethics. Let's have an ethical chat. Yes, I said right when I started, it was really hard to find 2 rounds to give to Ramirez. It was really hard to find, dude. Richards boxed his ears off. ... There you, the YouTube panhandler. What does that mean? I have a feeling Casemiro will destroy a lot of parlays. I didn't take Casemiro. I got Neary. Who did Lover stop though? This is the question. Look, I'm not. This is the question. Both guys Both guys have made their money. Who did Angeletti stop? Like, who is Angeletti beating? Did you know what I mean? Both guys have made their money on their individual domestic scene. So if we're gonna play strength of schedule, the Southeast Asian regional scene versus the Texas domestic scene, is if that's what you're gonna base your bet on, there's other factors to base your bet on other than strength of schedule. But it's a valid point, Mark. It's one of the things. It's one of the elements. I personally think the strength of schedule argument on Angeletti and Lover cancel each other out. So then we must have to move past that. Once you get past strength of schedule, physical attributes, pros and cons, game plans, that sort of thing. And when we get there, I side with Lover. Any thoughts on Marie? This is shout out to Jay Cass. I like the thumbnail too. You guys know I'm a Seb fan. Shout out to the Fighting Fedoras. Shout out to Gabby too. And there's a younger one. Gabby has a younger sister on the come up who could crack too. Shout out to the Fighting Fedoras, man. I'm a disciplined guy. I love seeing fighters who are just married to the game, dude. Let's not just go to the gym. Let's build a gym on our property. Let's build a boxing compound and then just create and manufacture a factory of champions. Let's go. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Fedora. The pops. Parents don't get enough love. For all the parents out there, you get my love. Think about how think about how helpless a little newborn human is. This is a little side rant. There's a thing in the animal kingdom called obligatory siblicide. It doesn't happen in all animals. It happens with hyenas. So due to the scarcity of goods and other elements of survival, in hyena newborns, the hyena mom will have, let's say, a litter of 7. The last 2 of that litter of 7, as soon as they're born, they open their eyes to the world, will fight to the death. This is called obligatory siblicide. Think of how vicious a hyena is as a full adult, right? Think now of the human baby. We are so needy. Like a human, it takes a human what? Some would even say, depending on what generation we're thinking, 12 years to be able to take care of themselves. Give or take a couple years. Some kids are way more independent than others. Some aren't. I know 20-year-olds who can't take care of themselves. Think about how much love, wherever you were born, an adult, whether it was your parent or not, had to have for you to even grow into a 10-year-old. Shout out to all the parents. I mean that. AB Drunken Master, them boys cooking. What's up, Cody? I don't watch the streams. I just watch the clips because they get put on my thing. Lover, let's go. Hit all the favorites out of the Tiger. We up. Rodrigo knows what time it is. Yep. Look, I think that's if I could play that, I would. Ramirez was the underdog in the fight. Yep. Got to be in the chat. Who you got? Paris. I got Paris. Roja on that moonshot boy. Do you like Lee Cutler, Aaron Bowen? Did you ask me about this yesterday? Why last night in my bed was I looking at Aaron Bowen's box rec? Y'all cats, you guys have subconsciously rooted my brain. I was looking at Aaron Bowen's box rec last night. I was like, why? I think one of you guys in the chat were bringing him up. Let me see what these odds are real quick. Yeah, I don't have action on that fight. My internet's acting up. It's one of the I don't have any play on the Aaron Bowen fight. Just full transparency. What's up, Running Straight? I think Kenneth Lover will get it done in a close fight. Let's do it. Steve Mean Garcia knocks out Diego. I like Steve Garcia. People sleep on him. Diego Lopez is aggressive as hell, does leave openings, keeps his chin high. Steve Garcia's boxing is low-key tight, man. He fights at range, really long for the division, aggressive, doesn't take a back step. I'd like to see how long Diego chooses to stand with him. That's a sleeper fight of the week, man. I'm high on Steve Garcia. He's another one of these fighters who has a really deep connection with his pops. His pops trains him, always trained him. Has a chip on his shoulder, dude. Fights like it. Always in a fight because he got that power. He's technical. You've been seeing the Rozicki odds go down. All right, let me get back to the Aaron Bowen. You guys have to keep me on track. So I'm going to stay on for at least another 15 minutes. I got to go to boxing here. I have a sparring session at 9 a.m. At 7:15 a.m. There's 81 of you guys in here. That's insane. 81 people watching this is crazy to me. Thank you. Like this video, hit subscribe for me. Okay, so I'm going to get to Floyd's question first. He wants to know about Aaron Bowen. Oh, okay. Dude, Troy Coleman, we watched Troy Coleman. He's had a couple up and down performances. We've seen Troy Coleman though win as the B-side. We've seen Troy Coleman before win as an underdog. That's why I was looking at it. I wanted to ask the question in the Discord, is anybody playing Coleman? I think I don't have action on this fight, and I'm not going to bet this fight. But I think Coleman is live here. I do. That's why I was that's why I was up last night looking. I was out there in my bed dog hunting. I was like, there's something out there. It was Coleman. It was we've seen him kind of we've seen him fight up before, like, and then we've seen him kind of level off. I think he's one of these guys that sometimes fights better as the B side as a dog. The Kenneth Lover fight will go the distance. Let's go. That's one of my favorite fights of the weekend. I'm excited. If you're a real boxing fan and you're interested in like prospect versus prospect or potential prospects being able to elevate to contender status, watch Lover versus Angeletti, because whoever comes out should propel themselves. And that's another thing. Because Angeletti was a prospect of the year by PBC in 2022, and there's been this gap from 2022 to 2026. In a calendar year, he hasn't fought. This will be his first fight in a calendar year. He's 29 years old. He'll be turning 30. Okay, why is that significant? Because Lover at 23, if Angeletti wins, will he be elevated? Will this propel? Lover is being kind of put on that track trajectory. It's why they brought Angeletti in. It's why they brought Angeletti in to help to get that scalp on the resume to further this trajectory for these massive fights with Kameda Promotions. They think they got one with him. Yokoyama's 4-0. I'm not completely sold yet. Paris has been there. Yes. Pat Supremo. Good eye. I have one lean with Paris. He's on our moonshot parlay. I got him at plus 190. A little off topic, but do you think a dedicated current AB could win a win? No. No, dedicated AB got beat up against our boy who knocked his teeth out. Steve Garcia by knockout is crazy. Diego Lopez all day. The chat heating up. Katiev looked good minus the knockdown. Wouldn't mind seeing him versus Morrell running it back. Yeah, Katiev, he's always in these interesting moments. That was a crazy first round, wasn't it? All of our hearts were like, because at the time our knockout prop was still playing. We had Katiev on our long parlay. Katiev was on our short parlay. So when we see him get dropped, it was just a buzz though. It wasn't like a legit sort of Patty Donovan versus Lewis Crocker 2. Like fucking Patty got it, it wasn't like that. This was more like a flash. Yoko versus Par reminds me of Simstri Cordova, Frankie Rod versus Galal Yafai, Albert Badr Gaziev versus Jazza Dickens, Sumi Umaha versus who's the Mexican kid? This sort of thing. Fonseca. Do you remember that? Sumi Umaha was a 7-1 favorite against Fonseca. And Fonseca beat the brakes off of him. Jazza was a 6-1 dog against Badr Gaziev. Jazza stops him, beats the brakes off of him. Frankie Rod was a 3-1 dog, even though Frankie Rod was on steroids and he tested. That one's a little bit weird. Think about some of the Cubans we've seen. Think about what Morataya did to Andy. Think about what happened with Yanis Tejas. Yanis Tejas' slip up against, was it Barral? I always get the engine. You guys, not Barral. I get mixed up with the Bass Barral and the other guy. I say it all the time. You know when your brain gets fixed on a loop, you guys. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about when Yanis Tejas got beat up. Did fight Magramo, who's 32-5 in his third fight. How'd you rate him? Did he look good against Magramo? Bruh is a locked character. Bro, Paris by knockout, TK is +5. It's a good lean. You know what I mean? I know we like plan for perfection. Nobody like you boys. I don't know. Maybe I should. What I'm gonna ask the Discord. What do you guys think of like a throwaway bet? I don't like the idea of throwing away bet, but is that a better term for a hedge? Because or a value bet? Because we like being perfect. Who doesn't? Think about us going perfect last week and how many risks we had to take. You know what I mean? Like we went perfect with all of our picks. Think of how many dogs we picked. So it's not always about playing it safe to be perfect. To be perfect, meaning that you pick 8 bets, 8 tickets, dogs, parlays, moves, and you hit all of them. That's what we did last week. It takes risk. We're going to see upsets. I think this fight is worth the risk. I think taking Paris as a dog is worth the risk. Chi-Town, the Bears in the house. What if somebody from Chicago? What if somebody from the Shadow was ill, got a deal on the hottest rap label around? Paris looks real big and he's relentless pressure. Got all right, ass self-made. You know, I respect your game. Nathan, my man, how's it going? I'm just now getting off work. I hope you have a good weekend. I told most of your bets and about Tapara, Justin. I think Tapara. Nathan, you put pressure on me now, man. You're tailing most of my bets. I hope we have a week like we had last week. Last week would have been the week to tail. We hit everything. Oh, you put pressure on me. I do my best to get these right for you boys. You guys know that I put all the effort I can into this. We're not just guessing, and I come about it as good as I can from a non-partisan perspective. You know, I remove my fandom from these matchups. Um, Topuria is overrated. I think it's a really tough match for Justin. It's a real. I'm shout out to. I remember when Justin made his debut, when he came over from World Series of Fighting to fight Michael Johnson, and an absolute barn burner. Both guys were hurt early, and Justin found the stoppage, and then Justin jumped on the octagon and did what came to be his tailor-made reverse somersault from the top. And then he's getting interviewed and he grabs the microphone and he talks about, I'm undefeated now. He was like, shout out to Michael Johnson, wasn't the guy to knock me out. He was like, but that guy's out there. I just haven't found him yet. He was like, I know I'm not going to retire undefeated. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a short time. Mic drop. That's Justin Gaethje. With just like on paper a really predictable style, just guard here, those awkward angle lower leg kicks that he throws, and the looping backhand he's trying to set up, always in your face, pressure. Topuria is a very technical boxer on his feet. He could grapple. He has good takedown defense. Justin's a good wrestler. People don't realize. I think he wrestled at Arizona State. That's a Division I program. Justin Gaethje's half Mexican. Why do I say that? He doesn't look it, but that spirit is in him. That Mexican fighting spirit. Justin Gaethje. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. Would I say Tapura's overrated? When you're out there just knocking legend after legend out, you're going to get comparisons to some of the greats, and then with that comparisons, there's going to be people say, "Hey, slow the fucking brakes." That's just human psychology 101. There's nothing in Saporia's game that I've seen so far to say he's overrated. I think he's legit. He's clean, he's sharp, he's tactical, and he's technical. He fights with a game plan. He fights with purpose. You see how much it means to him. He stays switched on. He stays locked in. I love bringing the Rose in there and the whole Spain thing, and it's a fun fight. More money on Angeletti got me. Yeah, look, we've seen this before though, boys. We've seen when money has come in and we've seen odd shift and you guys ask me, does that bother you? No, it doesn't. My boots are already dug in, boys. We've climbed through the trenches. We're in battle now, dude. There's no retreating. Did the samurai wear back armor? No. The samurai only had front armor. They said a word called dantatsu. Their backs were exposed. Why was the samurai's back exposed? Because they never retreated. Those boots were dug in, boy. Metal on the front, no back armor because they never ran away. I don't care what the odds are doing. I'm dug in. Errol detached. I know, man. Poor Errol. Didn't both guys recruit new trainers? Yep. Did anyone see the weigh-in? Yeah, Neri always misses weight, boys. Neri always misses weight. Paris by knockout. Casemiro can't face any scrutiny for failing to make weight consistent. There's a difference or about. He looks locked in. Casemiro. How old's Cass now? 37. I like Neri's left hook. I don't care if he misses weight. That left hook is nice. Johnny, do you have a read on Mitchell versus Lee? Yeah, I don't. Are we talking? I'm seeing if I have a play on it. I just got to double check for the boys. I gotta get out of here soon, boys. It's 7:25. I have to be in the city at 9 a.m. It's only like 10 minutes away, but I got my own little routine. Bryce Mitchell, Santiago Luna. Guys, I did not like what Bryce Mitchell looked like at the weigh-ins. I'm gonna show it to you real quick. I put it up on my Instagram. Guys, if you're on Instagram, give me a follow if you want. I'm pretty active on my Instagram, the Instagram story. And I use it to schedule in lives and stuff like that. So if you're on Instagram, give me a follow. Say, hey, Jay, it's so-and-so from YouTube. I'll follow you back. I built the Instagram up like a decade ago when I was all in on my fitness coaching business, all that good stuff. And then I was podcasting 12 years ago when nobody else was in Sydney. So this is our moonshot's still live. So this is our moonshot. But I'm gonna answer your question, Mike, and I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna show you why I'm hesitant on. Oh, you said Bryce Mitchell. I'm getting mixed up with Jordan Levitt. I'm sorry, bro. I don't have action on that fight. This is Jordan. Bro, Jordan looks awful. Jordan looks awful. Jordan looks like he's on death's doorstep, boys. Is Maria by knockout the what's up, Kaz? I know that Barry Unboxing likes Maria. I don't have Maria on my books. Willabaldo, what's the play? It should be bugging. It should be bugging you. It's an interesting one. So I do full transparency. I have Maloney's on our moonshot parlay. So the one lean I have on Maloney is on the moonshot parlay. Guys, 58 minutes in, there's 93 of you guys in here. I say thank you. I mean, it's crazy. 93 listening to dude, we're nerds. I didn't know there were 93 people who want to literally talk legit boxing rather than casual stuff, right? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We got fights that start here in the next fight starts. Edward Vasquez fights at 11:15. So I got boxing from 9 to 10:30. I'll be back around 11:30. Vasquez probably won't fight until 2. Yokoyama versus Paris. It says on paper it starts at 3. This is Sydney times. So fights will start in about 4 hours. Kenneth Lover fights this afternoon. Jonathan, Casemiro fights Neri. Willabaldo versus Maloney. Guys, this Japanese card is freaking fire. Wherever you are in the world, try to watch it. Ibuki versus Kalido main event. Willie versus Maloney for a world title. Neri versus Casemiro. Kenneth Lover versus Angeletti. Yokoyama versus Paris. And then Vasquez is on that ProBox card. Guys, you're the best. I'm going to try to get to the rest of these. You guys are animals. Oliveira's Gucci. I say he's overrated. However you guys support me, man, it means so much. And I'll see you in the next one, dude. Wherever you are in the world, remember, no matter what's going on, we always up. We up.